On to your markets news now. Asian markets followed the cue of US markets in today's trade, with gains seen in tech stocks and Chinese shares. The Nikkei share average rose by 0.8%. The Hang Seng Index closed at 0.65% in the black, while the Shanghai Composite Index also made gains, up 1.13%. US stocks closed higher on a shorter trading day on Friday, with the Dow and S&P 500 setting new record highs. The Nasdaq rose by the highest margin on the day, led by gains in semiconductor and equipment makers. This followed reports that US restrictions on semiconductor equipment and AI memory chip sales to China would be less stringent than previously thought. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose by 0.42%. The S&P 500 gained 0.56%, while the Nasdaq ended the session up 0.83%. Onto your local markets. The JSE starting the week on a positive note, with the all-share index up 1.1%. The rand is trading at 18.18 against the US dollar, 23.09 vis-a-vis the British pound, and 19.19 against the euro. Gold is trading at 2,636 against the dollar, Platinum is trading at $946 an ounce. Brent crude oil is trading at $72.46 a barrel. All right, I'm joined by Zwelakhe Mnguni. He's the Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers. A very good afternoon to you, Zwelakhe. So what are your key reflections on stock market performances in global markets and the local market in the month of November? And can we expect things to start slowing down now that we're heading towards the end of the year?
Look, I think we can expect a bit more volatility to continue. I think there is a lot of uncertainty in relation to what the Trump administration is going to do, and also what the Fed decisions are going to be beyond the December decision. So the market's moving up and down, but there is actually quite a positive sentiment underlying the market. Just from a long-term perspective, the market's a bit more cautious to push harder. But as you said, the tech sector has been showing signs of moving higher.
Yeah. So what's your take on US President-elect Donald Trump threatening that BRICS countries should not undermine the US dollar or else? I mean, what was your initial reaction to that tweet, and what bearing does this all have on emerging market currencies like the South African rand?
Look, I do think that he's maybe threatening, and it's his way of negotiating. I think practically, I mean, if one implements what he talks about, say, if these current countries implement a BRICS currency, you would put 100% tariffs. The implication would be that would be inflationary for the US, and it may lead to products not reaching the US on one side. The reality on the ground is that the BRICS countries are not ready with their own currency. So that is down the line. But even then, I think it will take time for them to replace the US dollar. So he's talking tough, but I don't think it's practical at the moment.
Yeah, but practically speaking, we know that the BRICS guys had resolved to trade more with each other in each other's currencies. Does that threaten the US dollar? Because I suppose currently they trade amongst each other with the US dollar, and by not including it in their affairs, they're taking away from the US dollar, no?
No, sure. I think to some extent, but remember the deciding party in terms of how they want to be paid would be the seller. So within the BRICS countries, maybe that could happen, and it would probably take some volume of the dollar purchases. But I think the bulk of it's still happening outside the countries. So they would be trading between themselves. It would be easier. It would be less dollars. But outside of that, I think they're still going to require dollars to be able to execute. So I think we're still some way away from seeing that the BRICS currency is working. And there is also an issue around the underlying collateral. So is it going to be gold? Is it going to be what? That's underlying that currency. So there is a need for them to clarify that.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Thank you so much for that. So Standard Bank, they released a voluntary trading update for the 10 months ended October 2024, indicating that they expect their earnings to rise in the low to mid-single digits levels, citing currency devaluations in a number of African markets that they play in. What was your assessment of their update? And I ask this because, of course, the major banks serve as an important barometer for how the economy is doing.
Look, I think in local currencies, it looks like they're doing very well. So they said it was mid-teens in local currency, and then the currency devaluations took the shine of their performance. But when I look at the ROE, the return on equity, it looks like they remain confident that they'll maintain that. So I do think that the environment is probably thawing for them to perform, but it's actually the currency issues that they are dealing with. And it may be a situation that MTN has been dealing with for quite some time as well. So yeah, we are getting to a point where Standard Bank is being affected as well.
Yeah. And then lastly, Naspers and Prosus, they came out with their half-year results. They're reporting e-commerce revenue growth of 26% and markedly higher profit levels. What's your view on this, on these stocks? Because one is based in South Africa, the other one is based in the Netherlands. What is your view on this particular stock? And is it one of those stocks, both the Prosus and Naspers, is it one of those that you always ensure that your portfolios for your clients have some exposure to?
Indeed, we do have exposure. Certainly, the e-commerce business did very, very well, and I think it beat expectations. I think going forward, the big question that seems to be on their minds is around how do they unlock the discount between the net asset value on their books and the share price. And they seem to have employed share buybacks, but they may be looking at other ways, maybe of buying other companies or listing some of these companies that are in their portfolios to be able to get access to that value. So it does look like there is a bit more clarity on the strategy compared to the past, and the execution has improved a lot.
All right, excellent. Thank you so much, Zwelakhe, for your thoughts on the markets today. That was Zwelakhe Mnguni. He's the Chief Investment Officer at Benguela Global Fund Managers. We're going to take a quick break.